in a bizarre way, seeing that you do not have control, seeing that we do not have much ability to exert free will, gives us a sort of freedom. Please allow me to explain. In the past, I viewed myself as a sort of coherent entity with a singular will that I wanted to exert in the world or cast into the world, and that I had coherent feelings, and I was a unified individual, that my presence was singular. However, my thoughts do not seem like that at all. Instead, they appear to be like the threads that run on a computer processor. They are innumerable and many times at odds with each other. They're interwoven and highly complicated. But the curious thing about these threads is that they compete for resources and they want different things. It's hard to feel like a person with a singular, complete will when you're constantly torn between one thing and another. And when your attention can be hijacked by what is around you, your environment, for example, the internet. When I wake up and I check YouTube, I find videos that I want to watch, and the YouTube algorithm sends me more that are like that. And before I know it, I'm in very deep, and the rest of my day is changed because of what something else sent me, something from the outside. Now, that's not in itself always a bad thing. Perhaps we don't have much control at all, and that's what I'm beginning to see, is that I can't just be this pure soul being cast into the world that does what it wants. I am a byproduct of my environment. And one of the big ways in which I realized this was through meditation. By meditating, I began to understand that I could distance myself from my thoughts. I would begin to see them as passing clouds in the sky. And these thoughts no longer consumed me. I was no longer caught up with them along for the ride. It was a newfound sense of calm, and I could see them from far away. In the beginning, this made me see how unfree I was. But then I realized the question to ask is, who am I? Because the person observing the thoughts still exists. There is the ability to observe your thoughts without connecting with them. So the individual, the self, the you, is not your thoughts. And that's all over mental health forums and stuff, but it's very hard to feel the impact of that knowledge as opposed to just be told that. So you're not your thoughts. Okay, yeah, but I feel like it. But you're not, because you can observe them without catching a ride on any of them. The most interesting thing here is that by being able to observe the thoughts from the outside, you are in a way far more free than if you never knew this. Because if you never knew that you were observing your thoughts from the outside, if you never knew that you could be caught up in these thought streams for days, that you would identify with things that you, not necessarily you. When you're blind, when you are ignorant of the fact that you are a multitude of things because you do not wish to accept it, you are its slave. But once you accept it, Once you have the courage to digest that sometimes uncomfortable truth that you are a system that is largely outside of your control, only then can you begin to exert some control on it. By stepping outside of the thoughts, by looking at them from a distance, by being calm and centered and quiet, you can begin to see which thoughts cause you a lot of unnecessary pain, which ones don't need to be there, and which ones you don't really think are part of you at all. This is the paradox that is present in many, many facets of life, is that it is only when we have the courage to let go that we have even a modicum of control. But you can't do it because you want control. It has to come about of its own. You have to be at peace.